Hello, welcome to my video on why Ernst Stavro Blofeld is a code name in the James Bond universe. Now, first things first, I have to acknowledge someone. I have to acknowledge their work that actually started me thinking about this a couple of years ago. And I think the theory has finally come to fruition. Alvin Dyson made a video. He's a big Bond fan, and the link to his video is currently on screen up there. And it's called James Bond is Not a Code Name. And he runs through the theory very well, and he shows his workings, and it is exactly what it needs to debunk the James Bond code name theory. Excuse me. What that does is his video debunks that James Bond is not the same character from Dr. No to the last film in the series, which is No Time to Die. If you want to look at what he says about the codename theory, quite a good video. It works it out and basically says the codename theory doesn't work. But his video started me on a little bit of a tangent, if you would. Blofeld is a code name. Ernst Stavro Blofeld has died in the franchise 3 times. 3 times. Now, most Bond fans will go, he's only died once. Well, casual Bond fans will go, he's only died once. Observant Bond fans will go, he's only died twice. I'm going to say 3 times. So, Ernst Stavro Blofeld died in Diamonds Are Forever in the explosion on the oil rig. He was trapped 90% unconscious, I'd say, in a submarine thing on a crane that Bond was hitting into a wall. So, yeah, I think Bond is dead. That is his first, in my view, his first canonical death. Okay, so Blofeld's dead. Okay, so where's the second death? Well, second death is a classic in the Bond franchise that only true Bond fans will notice. In the film, no, not You Only Live Twice. For Your Eyes Only, starring Roger Moore, the pre-title sequence makes huge hints. It's not even subtle hints that James Bond is fighting, well, not really fighting, kills Ernst Stavro Blofeld, who is currently in a wheelchair. Basically, Bond is in a helicopter pilot dies, Bond gets into the pilot seat and scoops up the man in the electric wheelchair who's trying to get away and drops him down how should I put it? It's an industrial chimney. So basically, that guy has fallen from a really long height, so I think he's basically dead. And the last canonical death on Stavro Blofeld happens in No Time to Die, where basically he is poisoned. I'm not going to go into too much detail if you haven't seen the film, but basically he's poisoned, he's dead. That's it. So the same man has died 3 times in the film franchise. And this film franchise doesn't really go for reincarnation. So how do we explain this? This is where my theory comes in. Spectre. I'm gonna get hate for this. I'm gonna have to Google it again. Right. Special Executive for Counterintelligence, Terrorism, Revenge, and Extortion. Now, in the dates of when the films were made, Spectre was first mentioned in Dr. No. Okay. So Spectre then gets reintroduced in the Daniel Craig film Spectre. I'll get on to that. That's a little bit of a quirk of the timeline of basically the first Bond film tells you about Spectre, and then, yeah. So, Spectre is what I'd class as a corporation. Basically, it's the evil version of Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, that kind of thing. I've never thought of Spectre in that way. I've thought of them just an evil organization. But I've never thought of them as an evil corporation until I took 2 minutes to think about it. The evil corporation has divisions. Now, what do I mean about that? What do I mean by that? Well, in the film Quantum of Solace, Spectre is Quantum is a division of Spectre. Basically, it's the money-making division of Spectre. So what does this mean? Why is this important to my codename theory? Well, in the second Bond film, From Russia with Love, Blofeld is not seen, but a voice of number 1, Spectre's chief, is heard. Okay, so who's Spectre's chief? Basically, it's Blofeld. In the timeline of the films, you didn't know it was Blofeld, it was just number 1. So number 1 is also seen in Thunderball, the next Bond film that actually has Spectre in it. I got to admit, if you see Thunderball, their offices are gorgeous. Their meeting room is fantastic. Spectre have the best evil designers in the world. In the only people who do it better are slightly the Empire with their ships. But yes, Spectre is a very corporate bad guy. Because, let's face it, there is a board meeting that goes on in Thunderball where number 1 says, okay, show me all your earnings for this year. And there's a classic thing where somebody said, in the UK division of Spectre, our consultation for the Great Train Robbery, £250,000. The Great Train Robbery only happened a couple of years before Thunderball was actually produced, I think. Not completely certain about that. Somebody might correct me in the comments. You are more than entitled, and I am more than happy for you to do so. What is interesting about Thunderball is that the voice of number 1, basically Blofeld, is the same voice in From Russia with Love. So yeah, okay. So what's this got to do with Blofeld being a codename? Well, in the film where Ernst Stavro Blofeld is first introduced to us, You Only Live Twice, the voice is different. Yeah, okay. Tiny caveat. Yeah, okay, it could still be the same person, but I don't think it is. I think that every so often, the person who is running Spectre, aka the Ernst Stavro Blofeld for that many years, retired. Or, how should I put this? Is the extermination section is put in charge of his removal from office. Basically, each Ernst Stavro Blofeld has however many years he wants in office. Then, in the next film that Blofeld is seen, which is on Her Majesty's Secret Service, the George Lazenby film, which also, mind you, also actually started the James Bond code theory, James Bond codename theory. But it also does something very clever. It actually ratifies my theory. Basically, it says, yes, my theory has some validity to it, but also cancels the Bond theory, the code name for Bond theory. What happened is that Bond, in pre-title sequence, says the stupid thing. I don't know why they put it in the actual film. I think it was ridiculous. They should have just taken it out. This never happened to the other fella. That is where the James Bond code name theory came about. Fine. Okay. That can be debunked if you look in the section right there. Calvin Dyson does a good job and he debunks it very well. But what he also does is when Blofeld is in front of Bond, he doesn't recognize him. So, no, that I can hear you saying it. No, it's a different actor from the first Bond. So, of course, Blofeld doesn't recognize him. But no, think about it. If Blofeld was the same act, but Bond was a different actor, you'd have a point. But they're both different actors. So neither of them should recognize each other. I know this is going into nitpicking territory. But if my theory works, I think it does, it means that Blofeld, Ernst Stavro Blofeld, is no longer in charge. The Blofeld that you see at the end of You Only Live Twice, which is the one with the cave, basically the big volcano. It started that trope of evil layer volcanoes. Basically gets away. There is no reason to see here that he's dead. There's no canonical reason he's gotten away. So, what is going on when Bond meets Blofeld in his Gloria? I'm trying to think of the name of it because I don't watch On Her Majesty's Secret Service too much. I don't particularly like them, but On Her Majesty's Secret Service is very important for Spectre and for Bond because Bond loses his wife at the end. And Spectre proves me right because the Bond, if Bond codename theory doesn't work, which I don't think it does, Blofeld should basically go, oh, that's James Bond. Shouldn't even need to sort of like take off the glasses. That there is no disguise. Basically, Bond walks in as Bond with a little bit of a voice change. Watch the film; it's hilarious. But what interests me the most is that Blofeld doesn't recognize Bond. So why is that? Why is Bond not recognised? Well, here's the idea. Blofeld, that was in the You Only Live Twice, basically the volcano one, he's not around anymore. Basically, he's dead. So the one that is on top of Piz Gloria, which is Alpine Retreat, you can actually go to Piz Gloria, by the way. I think I'm saying the right name. It's an Alpine Retreat, and you can actually go there. But the one that is introduced to Bond in Piz Gloria is a new division head. Basically, it's like a CEO. The CEO of Microsoft was Bill Gates. It's not anymore. Then it was, oh God, Balmer, I think it was. But yeah, this is why I think that Spectre is a corporation, basically like Microsoft or Nvidia, and every few years, the head of the corporation has to take on the name of Ernst Stavro Blofeld. So, but wait, hang on. What happens? Well, let's face it, the DNA testing doesn't happen in the films, because DNA testing wasn't around while Spectre was around. There was no change of Blofeld before DNA. There was no, how should I put this? Blofeld was the same to all franchise according to MI6, because every single time Blofeld dies, a Spectre agent just goes into the records section and says, okay, so here's this Blofeld's blood type, here's this Blofeld's thing, this is what the MI6 know about Blofeld. So in other words, if you got a blood sample from the original Blofeld, it would match the new Blofeld because it just does. So basically, they swap the cards around. If you see where I'm getting at, the idea. So why would Spectre do this? Why keep the same person around? It's the same idea as that was theorized with the James Bond codename. It is a figurehead. It is somebody who is scary as balls. You think about it. So you go, right, you're Chinese, you're the triad. And somebody says, well, we are being our opium industry or whatever is being cut into by Spectre. Oh, somebody go and kill Blofeld. Right. The triads actually kill Blofeld. But the triads, they killed that Blofeld. Yeah, a couple of weeks later, Blofeld is still alive, according to Spectre. So basically, they bring out in the dark web. They bring out so basically the crime net, if you see what I mean, sort of a worldwide crime newspaper or something. I know I'm making this kind of crap up, but you know what I mean. The crime network, if you will, goes Blofeld's still alive. The triads didn't kill anyone; they just killed somebody else. Okay, so why is this advantage? So the advantage is that every time a new ideas man comes into Spectre, he's got new thoughts, new theories. It's the problem that the Nazis had with Hitler. He just became senile in the end. In comparison to Blofeld, where basically after a few years, the old Blofeld gets killed or retires, and a new Blofeld sits in the chair and goes, right, this is going to be our villainous plans this year. this is what I think Blofeld is great at. Villainous plan. And as a figurehead, he is indestructible as just a figurehead. He is the head of Spectre. Giving him that name gives him more gravitas than... so Blofeld's died. Let's elect Joe Bloggs here. Joe Bloggs is now the new head of Spectre. What do you think, Joe Bloggs? The criminal underworld will just laugh at you. But if you have a figurehead that is seemingly immortal, it gives Spectre gravitas. Gives it a sense of occasion, sense of, how should I put this, more villainy than you can think about. So, to put it this way, if my theory is correct, this actually works in canon. So, Bond kills Blofeld on the oil rig in Diamonds Are Forever. Spectre goes, oh, that Blofeld's dead. Let's just put another Blofeld in his place. Okay, Blofeld is killed in on the top of the wheelchair and just chucked down a chimney. Oh, okay. We'll make another Blofeld. And actually, this film Spectre actually proves my point. It's one of the weirdest things about Spectre. Spectre is a film that is very divisive in the Bond community. But there's something that really sort of hits home. There is a thread, if you go through Spectre, that Bond and the person who is now called, and I repeat, now called Ernst Stavro Blofeld, grew up together. Yeah. In other words, they're not brothers from the same mother, but they grew up together. Yeah, a bit crazy. That also actually really sort of puts a green flag up for my theory of Spectre uses Blofeld as a code name. Give me a moment to check on something, and I've got to get a quote out. The quote is from Spectre the film. Franz Oberhauser died 20 years ago with his father, James. The man inside your head, the man speaking to you right now, is Ernst Stavro Blofeld. Now that is the biggest green flag for my theory. His name is not is in the original Spectre film. His name is not his own. He has just been given the name Ernst Stavro Blofeld, and he loves it. It's an awesome. It's growing on me, Spectre. But yes, that is the main quote that I wanted to quote. That is from the actor who plays Ernst Stavro Blofeld saying to Bond, strapped to a chair, Franz Oberhauser died 20 years ago. When he died, I became Ernst Stavro Blofeld. That is my codename theory. So basically, it works like this. If you think about it, Ernst Stavro Blofeld is the CEO of Spectre. So he's the commander-in-chief. It's like the president in the US. It's not President Bush, President Obama. It's the president's order. It's Blofeld's order. If you see what I mean, it's Inspector, it's a station of office. It's a mark of station, if you see what I mean. It's number one in the early films, and it's Ernst Stavro Blofeld in the later films, right up to the end. So that is why I think Ernst Stavro Blofeld is a codename, and I am actually going to put somebody's name on here. Callum Dyson, the person who I talked about, who's a big Bond fan. I want him to see this video, and I would love if he would basically go, "You're talking a load of nonsense," or light bulb moment, "It really works." The theory is so reasonable because if you think about it, Blofeld has died 3 times. Once on the Aurig, once being chucked down a once being chucked down a log. It's not a log flume, but once being chucked down a you know what I mean. He was chucked down there. But he was chucked down there, and then the actual end of Blofeld that is in No Time to Die. He dies literally in that film. So this is my theory. I want everyone who is a Bond fan to see this because it works so well, and I want you guys to understand. I want you guys comment if you agree. Comment if you can see flaws in my theory. Yeah, let's face it. You can probably think that I've got flaws in the theory if you look how I'm dressed and my current hair status. But this is a theory that I really want you guys to think about. Is Ernst Stavro Blofeld a codename? I think it is. Ernst Stavro Blofeld is 100% more of a codename than James Bond. Codename for James Bond is 007. That's his codename. The codename for the leader of Spectre is Ernst Stavro Blofeld. Tell me what you think, guys. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm right. Tell me what you think. Thank you for watching this. Goodbye.